Welcome to The Explainer. Let's just dive right in, okay? Picture this. You're standing right in the middle of one of the most electric, high-stakes atmospheres in recent sports history. We're talking about the Paris 2024 Olympics, the women's 100-meter final. The stadium is literally pulsing with anticipation. Floodlights are beaming down, and every single eye is locked on one lane. We are watching the culmination of an incredible, winding, turbulent, and ultimately triumphant journey. A journey we're calling the Paris Path to Gold. And standing right there at the center of that Parisian track, that's Sha'Carri Richardson. You know, she has this philosophy. Beauty and the Beast comes together. I feel like fashion is the flow of the body. And man, does that perfectly capture her vibe. Under those massive stadium lights, you see her signature orange nails glinting. Her style is completely unapologetic. And her confidence? It is absolute. But to really grasp the weight of this moment in Paris, we need to take a step back. We have to see exactly what it costs to get into those starting blocks.
So let's hit rewind. We're going back to Dallas, Texas. It's a city built on ambition and resilience, which makes it the perfect starting line for Sha'Carri's story. From day one, life demanded serious strength from her. With her parents mostly out of the picture, she was raised by her absolute pillar of strength, her grandmother Betty Harp, along with a super supportive aunt. And you know, Betty wasn't just a caregiver. She instilled these intense survival instincts that completely define Sha'Carri today. It's a really powerful reminder that our earliest, toughest foundations often build our greatest strengths.
Fast forward to her time at David W. Carter High School, and it became clear pretty fast, pun intended, that she wasn't just quick. She was basically untouchable. Just look at what she pulled off. In 2016, at barely 16 years old, she takes the AAU Junior Olympics 100-meter dash title in 11.50 seconds. Then she follows that up with Texas state titles in both the 100 and 200 meters. But here's the thing, it wasn't just about the stopwatch. It was her whole aura, right? The brightly dyed hair, the long nails, she turned the track into her own personal stage. By 2018, she bundled all that fearless energy and committed to Louisiana State University.
And that brings us to a massive, absolutely jaw-dropping breakthrough, 10.75 seconds. Let me put that into perspective for you. That is literally faster than most people can read a single sentence. In 2019, at the NCAA Championships in Austin, Sha'Carri exploded out of the blocks to set a new collegiate record, the fastest time ever run by a freshman. At just 19, she became the 9th fastest woman in history at that distance. Naturally, the media swarmed. People instantly started comparing her to track legend Florence Griffith Joyner. I mean, the hair, the nails, the sheer undeniable brilliance on the track. The parallels were all right there.
So now she's faced with this monumental choice, stay in college or leap into the professional arena. Well, she took a bold, highly calculated risk. She left LSU after just one single season. She turned pro and inked a massive sponsorship deal with Nike. Her rise was so rapid, so completely fearless, that she instantly became the new face of American sprinting. Just like that, she wasn't just a promising athlete anymore, she was a global phenomenon.
But I want to slow things down right here for a second. Because as we move into 2021, the whole atmosphere shifts dramatically. The track world was finally buzzing again after the pandemic pause, and the U.S. Olympic trials in Eugene, Oregon were supposed to be her triumphant gateway to the Tokyo Olympics. The stadium was electric. But behind the scenes, Sha'Carri was carrying an unimaginably heavy emotional burden. Even still, she steps to the line and clocks a blistering 10.86-second finish, officially punching her ticket to Tokyo. The crowd absolutely erupts. But Sha'Carri, she bypassed the cameras and the headlines, sprinting straight up into the stands to fall into a massive embrace with her grandmother. It looked like this beautiful moment of pure joy, but it was actually masking a silent, agonizing grief. Just days earlier, she had found out from a reporter that her biological mother had passed away. It is just such a stark reminder of the invisible weight so many elite performers carry. She was quite literally channeling her heartbreak into pure speed.
And then, the chaotic summer of 2021 unfolded. After that incredible June victory, news broke on July 1st that she tested positive for THC. She came out and openly admitted to using marijuana as a way to cope with the sudden, devastating loss of her mother. Well, the anti-doping agency responded swiftly, handing down a 1-month suspension. And just like that, in the blink of an eye, her Olympic dream for Tokyo was gone. When she did finally return to the track in August at the Prefontaine Classic, she finished dead last with a time of 11.14 seconds.
As you can probably guess, this whole sequence of events sparked a massive public divide. On one side, you had figures like track legend Michael Johnson and even various lawmakers calling the anti-doping rule antiquated and the ban completely unjust. But on the flip side, sports purists and icons like Usain Bolt emphasized the established rules, urging her to just accept responsibility and gear up for her next shot. The spotlight was absolutely relentless. It amplified her personal tragedy into this enormous, inescapable national debate.
But here's the really interesting part. Despite all the fierce debate, and despite losing the Tokyo Olympic stage, her cultural resonance, it didn't fade at all. Major sponsors stuck by her side. Nike released a powerful statement saying, "We appreciate Sha'Carri's honesty and accountability and will continue to support her through this time." Millions of people didn't just see a suspended athlete, they saw a real human being grappling with intense grief and immense pressure. Her commercial power, and honestly just her authentic story, were way too strong to be erased by a setback.
So here's the million-dollar question. What do you do when the world thinks you've peaked too soon? Because 2021 and 2022 were a grueling proving ground. At the USATF Outdoor Championships in June 2022, she failed to advance beyond the heats in both the 100 and 200 meters, which meant she completely missed out on the World Championships. Public doubt was really mounting at this point. Critics were openly, loudly questioning if she would ever recover her former glory.
But Sha'Carri? She didn't see this as the end of the road. She saw it as an obstacle to be broken down, brick by brick. Far away from the glaring spotlight, she committed to a wildly methodical rebuilding process. We're talking rigorous speed drills, exhausting endurance training, precise technical refinement, and some serious mental preparation. And grounding her through every single step of this was her grandmother, constantly reminding her of the value of patience, faith, and unbreakable discipline.
And wow, did that quiet discipline explode onto the world stage in 2023? At the World Athletics Championships in Budapest, Sha'Carri stepped into lane 9, the outside lane, and surged forward with flawless acceleration. She stopped the clock at 10.65 seconds, a world championship record. She screamed in triumph right there on the track, effectively silencing every single critic in that stadium. It was absolute validation. She proved, without a doubt, that perseverance and self-belief can overcome even the most public of setbacks.
Which brings our whole narrative full circle, taking us right back to where this explainer kicked off, the electric, highly anticipated atmosphere of the Paris 2024 Olympics. The fastest woman alive had officially arrived on the sport's grandest stage. She was carrying not just the weight of expectation, but the promise of absolute golden redemption.
In the women's 100-meter final, she lined up against the absolute best in the entire world. She launched forward with incredible precision, surging stride for stride, and crossed the line at 10.72 seconds. That blistering run secured her the Olympic silver medal. Sure, she was second by a hair, but it was undeniable validation. She was officially an Olympic medalist on the global stage. But listen, the Paris path to gold, it wasn't quite finished yet.
Because just days later, the ultimate moment of redemption arrived, the US 4x100-meter relay. Sha'Carri is running the anchor leg. You can literally cut the tension with a knife. She takes the baton with the immense weight of American sprinting dominance resting entirely on her shoulders.
And she is absolutely blazing down the final stretch. Her mechanics are flawless, her explosive stride is literally tearing up the Paris track. You can see it, all the years of rigorous drills, the devastating heartbreak, the relentless public scrutiny, every single piece of it is being channeled into this singular, blistering sprint toward the finish line.
And she crosses the line first for Olympic gold. America reclaims its sprinting dominance, and Sha'Carri Richardson absolutely secures her gold medal. It is just an incredible climax, completely rewriting the narrative and finalizing one of the absolute greatest redemption arcs in modern sports history. She didn't just arrive as a star, she cemented herself as an Olympian for the ages.
But you know, her legacy goes so far beyond the track. She's become a massive cultural force. She stands as a symbol of second chances and sheer, unfiltered resilience. She brings representation for Black women and is a vocal, unapologetic voice for the LGBTQ+ community. Most importantly, though, she proved to the world and to all of us watching that you absolutely cannot let a failure or a stumble define your finish line. True greatness, it's defined by your ability to rise after you fall.
So I want to leave you with this final thought. With her Paris gold finally secured and the 2025 World Athletics Championships in Tokyo looming right around the corner, what boundaries will Sha'Carri break next? She has completely redefined what it means to be a champion, and honestly, the world cannot wait to see what this unapologetic icon does next. Thank you so much for joining me for this explainer, and hey, keep your eyes on the track.